Hello, this is Joe83, and this is episode 9 of the My Team Lotus career mode, and we're here in Canada for the ninth race of the season. And after the highs of Baku, we're hoping for a similar vein to carry on the form in Montreal, but the track optimization test is fairly straightforward, fully purple score on the first lap. It's a track I quite enjoy online, especially. Offline it's been quite difficult because the AI at certain corners around here are just unrealistically OP, which is a bit of a problem, but yeah, we've got to accept it and move on through all the tests now. Fairly straightforward stuff. Bouncing off the wall there, which obviously isn't ideal, but luckily no damage done, and going to get green on the fuel. And moving on to the next one, which is ERS. I failed the first lap, but this time we're just about up on the delta. Bunny hopping through the final corner, and just about down now, but using a little bit of overtake, staying in the purple sector, and just about completing that. 4 to 50 resource points. And this car is getting alright now. The limiting factor at the minute is the time it's taking to develop each part, but when the upgrades get on the car, we will be reasonably good. Like, the midfield is so closely packed that 4th down to 9th is really close, and we are actually 9th at the minute, but not far off of Racing Point and McLaren, who I think are 4th and 5th. But straight on into qualifying, obviously the aim is still to try and get out of Q1, as we did in Baku. Which, yeah, would be very nice to see if we can do it again. On the first lap in Q1, Giovinazzi actually leaving the pits, blocking me slightly on the outside there. Got to take a narrower line into turn 4 than I would like, and braking quite early, but taking a reasonable amount of speed through there. And by the end of that lap, actually, I gained a bit of slipstream off Lance Stroll, my rival, actually, who's helped me out probably more than he would like. I think he's on an out lap. So we're going to take that slipstream, move on to the final corner, try and take as much speed through as possible, braking about 70 metres, 4th gear, not even corner cutting that time, and run past the World Champions. It's going to be a 109.3 actually, which puts me in 7th at the minute, ahead of Stroll and Russell, but that everyone set their time. It's going to be 16th, which is a bit of a problem because the bottom 6 go out, so we're right on the cusp, and through turn 1, not the most speed ever taken through there. Even though Giovinazzi blocked me last time, I'm still going to be a half a tenth down through that corner, and braking a little bit earlier again, and we're going to be even more down now through turn 4, 2 tenths down, but we've got a bit of time to gain later in the lap, I think. So coming through the high speed left-hander now, this is the corner, or one of the corners that the AI is stupidly good at on the traction. We gained back almost all the time we lost there, so much better than the first run through that corner. And now coming up to the bridge and braking just at the barrier on the left. A lot of speed taken through there. We've gained another tenth or so, but loads of loss of traction on exit, and that's lost me the time that I had gained. But through the hairpin now, I made a big mistake here in the first lap, so try and keep it nice and tidy. First gear for that extra rotation, and trying to get a nice exit. We're 2 tenths up now, but the exit wasn't quite as good as last time, so it's going to drop down to a tenth. And actually, as we know, Stroll got slipstream. It got me slipstream last time, so we're going to lose time all the way down the straight, as we're going to have a lower top speed this time round, and it's only just up, so you really got to fly through the final corner. I'm absolutely attacking those curves like no tomorrow, and almost brushing the World Champions there, but it's going to be a very minor improvement, only up to a 9.3 again, so that might not be enough. We'll have to wait and see. At the end of the session, we'll scroll down to the bottom, and it actually wasn't enough. It was 17th place, and it's a bit frustrating because you can see 3 tenths there to Giovinazzi, and there was definitely 3 tenths in that lap, which is a big problem. But we move on, and I actually elected to go for the medium soft strategy, starting on the medium tyres. But we're on 5 red lights out for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's a long hold before we're away at last, and looking for one of the good starts that have been pretty staple of my season, really. But it's not been amazing. Gasly is bogging down a little bit on the left, so we're going to go to the inside line, send one down the inside of Kvyat and Giovinazzi as well. Maybe they've got to leave me a bit of space, but they're just about ahead. But through turn 3 now, around the outside of the two of them in the Italian car and the Italian driver, and down towards turn 4, sorry, and it was still 3 wide. We're going to have to take this massive Vettel line, which is a bit of an issue, as that's going to give me a little overtake on Giovinazzi. Got to let him back through, although he probably would have got me anyway, but he's backed off massively through the inside of turn 6, and now through 7, we're just about ahead, up into 14th place, up 3 places. Actually, it was only 2 places, I think, because someone had a grid penalty as well, so not the best start ever, and Giovinazzi's now coming back at me down towards the next corner, the high-speed right-hander, so got the outside line, but try to take as much speed as possible, track extending ever so slightly, but I think I didn't really have a choice there as Giovinazzi was on the inside, but we've taken that position back up into 14th, but you can see Kvyat has absolutely gone already in the Toro Rosso, in the AlphaTauri, sorry, and through the next corner. Still a little bit too far back to make anything happen. Yellow flags are out, but I don't quite know what for, but a couple laps later, and Kvyat wasn't pulling away quite so much as he was at the start, but Giovinazzi has come back at me a lot. He's got the DRS open. We're going to have to go defensive into the final chicane, but that should be fairly easy to defend against, although we're going to take a terrible run, and he's going to get a much better exit down towards turn 1. and he's going to have a big chance now on the outside. We've gone defensive, but he's got such a massive straight line speed advantage that I'm too far back even to send it into turn 2, and turn 3 is pretty standard. And you can just see the exit here. The AI gut every time was so much better than mine, same as turn 7. But while we're at 15th place, let's have a quick look at the replay of the race start. And two Mercedes once again with the front row lockout. I think it's been like that for about 4 or 5 races in a row now. You can see myself there in the background. We went down the inside of both Alpha Tauris, although Kvyat didn't quite get engulfed by me into turn 1, but we went down around the outside of turn 3. Actually, this is very confusing because the turn 1 obviously is just a little kink, but we managed to get ahead of both of them temporarily at least. And then Giovinazzi obviously got back ahead of me later on in the race. But talking of Gio, here he is once again. We were still keeping with him quite well. The soft tyres that everyone else was on were dying a little bit at this point. So yeah, the medium's coming into fruition quite a lot, but through the exit of turn 2 we're all over him, but again really messing up the traction. That's the big problem with this car at the minute, is the grip out of the low speed corners just really isn't there. I found that a lot of circuits, and Canada especially is one of the ones where it's a really big issue. And I'm coming out of the same corner again. Slightly better exit this time, which could give us a chance for the remainder of the lap, but through turn 4 taking a lot of curb on entry, and Giovinazzi still just about ahead of me. We've got a big gap ahead to Kvyat, and also get a big gap behind to Ricciardo, so it's sort of a race of our own. Almost running to the back of Giovinazzi there, and he's having to leave his space on the inside of turn 6, which I wasn't intending to go for a move there, but he almost let me through anyway, which is a bit strange. And DRS open this time, and he hasn't got away as much as he has done previously, and through this corner trying to take as much curve as possible. We've got a massive mistake there, and that's lost me a good 2 or 3 tenths, which might make all the difference down towards the hairpin. Yes, it did, because I was nowhere near close enough. But this next lap, trying to do the exact same thing again through this corner, trying to get a clean exit this time, and we're a lot closer. We're at least 2 tenths closer to Giovinazzi. Don't know what line that is. Almost driving on the grass there for no obvious reason, but down towards the hairpin. First gear, almost hitting the back of Giovinazzi. He's going extremely slowly on those softs that he's been on for 9 laps now. They're obviously going to be heavily worn compared to the mediums that I'm on, but rich mix and overtake mode, DRS wide open. This should be a fairly straightforward move. Obviously, the Alfa Romeo has very high straight line speed, but not enough to hold us off this time, and braking just after the 100-meter board. And he's actually going to peel into the pit, so all of that, and he's going to get an undercut on me anyway. So yeah, everyone's in the pits, and that's going to raise me up into 10th, because obviously everyone else will be doing soft and then medium. I'm doing the alternate, so I'm doing medium soft, which maybe was a bit of a bad decision in hindsight, because as in Zandvoort, everyone's going to have better tyres than me pretty much all race until right at the end. So I'm going to get undercut so much, but I just thought it was worth trying something different because my pace didn't feel that good. But now Vettel is right behind me, and through this corner once again, 3rd gear on the entry and short shifting to 4th on exit, and Vettel in that Ferrari is just going to absolutely mince me on the exit, and there he goes on fresh mediums straight through. I think he's in a battle for the podium position, so yeah, not really much point fighting him when we were battling for 14th. So yeah, we move on to the next lap, and actually Verstappen now right behind me, who hasn't had a great season so far. I think he's on about 40 points or something, looking for a good result here. I'm going to absolutely do the same thing. DRS open even on this pointless little straight, but Verstappen's got such a better exit that he probably wouldn't have mattered anyway, and he takes that position up into what is 5th at the minute, but obviously isn't a net 5th for me because I've still got a stop to make. And a couple laps later, here we are making that stop, braking just after the 50-meter board to get it slowed down for the pit lane. It's going to be onto the medium tyres. And yeah, I think Giovinazzi with that 4-lap undercut will be quite far ahead of me, he was pretty much the only one we were racing. We had quite a big gap to Ricciardo and the likes of him who were behind me, but into the pits, onto the mediums, coming out at a 2.3 second stop, which is pretty good. Ricciardo was already gone, Giovinazzi's already gone, and our Grosjean is coming down the straight now, so it's going to be pretty close with him actually, which is not who I really want to be battling. We're down into 16th, maybe even 17th depending on where we come out, but the shorter pit lane exit should give me 16th place. Yes, it does. We've got to try and close now on Giovinazzi and Ricciardo, but so much later in the race, and the second stops have started happening, but you can see the gap has sort of just stayed the same to Giovinazzi and Ricciardo. It's 3.2 now. I think it was something like 4 or 5 when I came out of the pits. So in 7 laps, I've made pretty much no inroads. Meanwhile, Alex Albon has pit a bit earlier, and he's going to absolutely just drive off into the distance in his Red Bull. So yeah, the pace just was not there, especially when I had no DRS. And Giovinazzi and Ricciardo were just too quick for me in a second stint, so I'm going to have to wait to the end with the soft tyres to try and make a difference. But Perez has come out, it's very close to me, side by side, and he's actually going to the end now. So despite everyone having made their stops, I'm still 11th with the stop to make, so really not much chance of points in this race, but that's the way it goes sometimes with the backmarker team, or supposedly a backmarker team anyway. But Stroll's going to go on the outside. I'm going to absolutely send one because he is my rival, so I want to annoy him as much as possible. But he's just going to do a switch back on me and get the DRS, I think, as well, because he was ahead of me. No, I was ahead of him, sorry, going into the activation zone. detection zone, I should say. Get my words out eventually. And now down the back straight, really not much chance of battling Stroll, although through the final corner he's going very defensive, so maybe we can line up a good exit. Unfortunately, with the double DRS zone and the terrible exit, he has DRS, as does Carlos Sainz, who's going to go flying past as well. My pit window's now open for the soft tyres, but I think it's going to be all over by the time we go out the pits, to be honest. It's going to be probably a best 16th when I lead the pits. It'll be interesting to see where exactly it is, but then later in that lap 26, we've gone so wide into the first part of that corner on these dead mediums, and Lando Norris in the McLaren is going to go flying through for that final points playing position. And leave me 11th for now, and then when we pit it's going to be even lower. I'm going to track extenders next week because I've locked up my front right there. It's just a quality display of driving, it really is, and Raikkonen now is right behind me, and he's going to try and make a move into the hairpin down the back straight, although I'm pitting, so I'd rather he didn't make a move. I'll just get out of his way in one straight's time. But do we still have DRS on Norris because we were close enough going into that corner? So Raikkonen shouldn't be close enough for a move because we have the straight line speed advantage as well with the DRS open. And then coming into the pit lane for the soft tyres and braking it, just out of 50 metres again and into the pit lane. And you can see on the minimap there is Ricciardo, who we were reasonably close and ahead of in the first stint. It's absolutely left me for dead. And there is Giovinazzi, also going to be so far ahead by the time we come out of the pits. Yeah, it's not going to be a great situation because it's a little bit of no man's land. And you can see on the minimap you can't even see Gasly yet, and I'm about to leave the pits here. There he is, the Frenchman, and Magnussen behind in the Haas. But with the shorter pit lane exit, it's going to be quite easy to retain the position for me. And yeah, opening up turn 2 now, turn 3, sorry. And yeah, that was literally it. Nothing else happened. I closed the gap slightly on Ricciardo and Giovinazzi, but yeah, they were about 12 seconds ahead, so there was no chance I was going to be able to close in. Actually, especially not with driving like that. That pretty much sums up the whole day. It was just a very poor showing. I didn't drive very well. The car didn't have much pace, and the strategy wasn't very good. So everything did go wrong. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and even driving all over the polystyrene, yeah, just an absolute awful display from me, to be fair. But it's going to come across the line for 16th place, which, considering the car pace, is still not that bad. We've still beat a fair few drivers, and my teammate Delatraz, obviously, who is absolutely terrible. And yeah, unfortunately, no points, but we did get that 6th. I got driver of the day for going from 16th place to 16th place, so yeah, work that one out. I'm not too sure, but unfortunately, Stroll did get a good result in 9th, so I'm going to lose that rivalry. Delatraz was second last, with Latifi getting lapped and Russell DNFing, so yeah, not the best display ever. But we move on. We'll have better races this season for sure. So in the standings, we've probably gone down a place. No, we haven't actually. Luckily, Norris didn't score enough points, so it's still very tightly packed in our midfield. But 24 points is fairly good. Delatraz on 0 still, as you'd expect. So we're 8th in the constructors still. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JWay3, and I'll see you next time.